Yes. Welcome to Money Making Conversation. That's right. I am your host, Rashawn McDonald. Each Money Making Conversation talk show is about entrepreneurship and entertainment. I provide the consumer and business owner access to celebrities, CEOs, entrepreneurs, and industry decision makers. I recognize that we all have different definitions of success. For some, it's a sizable paycheck. Mine is helping people wake up and inspiring them to accomplish their goals and live their very best life. These are my passions, and that's what I'm going to help you with your passions, your gifts. See them through. I want you to stop tripping over small challenges and prepare to rise above the bigger obstacles that life will present to you. The Money Making Conversation interviews provide relatable information to the listener and about career and financial planning, entrepreneurship, motivation, leadership, overcoming the odds, and how to live a balanced life. That is why I do this show, and thank you for listening. My next guest is an award-winning broadcaster. She's often seen on the popular TV One series I see all the time, Unsung, because she is a celebrity strategist. That's why. She knows everybody, who has coached everyone from Rihanna to T.I. She is an in-demand speaker and CEO of Influence Entertainment, a beautiful website. I'm driving people to this website. I went to the website and got jealous. Not only jealous because how beautiful it looked, but how beautiful you looked. Okay, I'm going like, hey man, I need to work with her. Please welcome to Money Making Conversations, the mother of Black Music Month, Dyana Williams.
Oh, Rashawn, thank you for that beautiful introduction. And you've got me over here blushing. And no, I don't think I know as many people as you do.
No. I'm looking at the website now. You know, got her arms folded, got that little gray flash and the big earrings, the jewelry. I'm going like, this girl is fly. Influence, entertainment, refinement, and communication. Because, you know, when people come on my show, Dyana, I do my research. I don't just like, you know, they'll send me like 5 to 10 questions. I go, well, that's cool. That's cool. Let me find out some more stuff. And so and you are a branding expert. That's what you do. And so I always look at people and say, what different what they do? Like some people say they do social media, and I go to them and they have no followers. I go, okay, if they cannot build in their brand, how are they going to build my brand? And so if you're an influence person, if you're a branding expert, a strategist, and I go to your website and I go, and that's what I do. I go, wow, this is hot. And I just scroll down, you know, just come on down, you know, absolutely necessary, the need for effective communication, you know, star after star, my boy Charlie Wilson on here, you know, Pitbull, Allen Iverson, just to let you know there's a versatile roster that she deals with here. And then she come down here with her hand underneath her chin, a little pensive look of success, you know, got the Empire State Building, the aerial shot on the corporate roster, letting you know she's not just dealing with talent. She has Fortune 500 companies on her roster, and it's just a beautiful thing that you're doing. Tell us about this website before we start talking about anything else, because I've walked everybody through this website. How much participation did you have involved in this? Dyana, the floor is yours to talk about your website, influenceentertainment.com.
Yes, it is. Thank you. I have to give credit to Lifestar Media Group, who designed it, and also my VP, Sarah Jeniswisky, who keeps it updated. And these are people that I've had the good fortune of working with over the past 26 years. Mm-hmm. I've coached CEOs of record companies. I've coached Kathy Hughes, the CEO of Urban One, tons of artists, athletes, business leaders, thought leaders, and it is just my passion, and it is the divine that I've been given. It's just a blessing to be able to help other people recognize their strengths and weaknesses. Right. And in that process, it's allowed me to grow as a professional, as a mother, as a woman, as a member of my community. So I love what I do, and I do what I love.
Well, you know, it's really important because, you know, we met through an interview, then we met again at the Los Angeles when you was being honored, and the Legends.
Living Legends
Foundation, which I was honored several years ago, and it's one of the blessings. I keep it on it's one up there with my Emmy. It's up there with my Image Awards. It's up there with every award I got. I got my Legends right in the middle because it's a beautiful plaque that they give you.
Such a beautiful, yes it is.
You know, when somebody honors you like that, Dyana, Walk us through the steps of that, because that's about a legacy. That's about trust. That's about relationships. That's about people saying you accomplish things in life, in the entertainment world that's unique. And more importantly, you give back. May not always be financially, but you give back because you don't just ignore other people's, flaws or other people's missteps. You're there to support and mentor. Talk to us about that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure you can speak volumes to this with the awards that you just cited. Your multiple Emmys and NAACP, tons of awards. You don't do the work for awards. However, when your peers and your community acknowledges that you have been super serving, you feel good. The event that you're referring to is the Living Legends Foundation in October in Los Angeles. I had the esteemed honor of receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award. I've been working in the music industry since 1973 is when I first got my check on an ongoing basis. I was on the air at 96.3 WHUR. I'm sure you're very familiar with
my
the station.
favorite station in D.C.
One of mine as well. It gave me my start, Bob Nighthawk Terry. And so you when you get those kinds of recognition, you feel good. It's something that you can go like my mother, my children, my family and friends, and say, your support of me, my endeavors, my time away from you, traveling to be with my clients, going all over the world. This is the sum total. This is the bottom line. So, like you, I have many, many awards, but the greatest award for me is the love, the recognition of love and appreciation that I get from people.
But, and I have to agree with that because of the fact that I always tell people, you might not like me, but as long as you respect me, we good. Because I fight for respect. I fight for respect. I fight for respect for my client or any product I represent. It's about respect because in the end, wanting to be liked is cool. That's all right. But I don't think your legacy can be built on wanting to be liked. But your legacy can be built on what you accomplish and how much people respect you. And that's
absolutely.
And that's what I'm leaning towards in this conversation about all the people who have come to you for advice. Walk us through that step because, I've had my success with a limited amount of people. I know a lot of people, and a lot of people I've not managed them or put them on my roster, and they come to me advice. I get texts, I get phone calls, I get emails. But they've come to you and say, hey, you are the one. How did you make the transition to that role?
Excellent question. So I started in the industry as a broadcaster radio. I just referenced 96.3 WHUR, where I started as Ebony Moonbeams was my radio handle. And I did that. I then left D.C., went to New York, which is my hometown. I grew up in the Bronx and Harlem and Manhattan. And Frankie Crocker, who was then the dean of Black radio, hired me at WBLS, which remains much like WHUR, heritage station in New York, and a clarion voice in the Black community and other communities as well. Skip Dillard is the current program director.
My man.
But anyway, I love him. He's just so accomplished and wonderful. But one day I took a break from radio and I started managing an artist by the name of Gary Taylor. He's a songwriter producer who wrote Just Gets Better with Time for the Whispers. He wrote Good Love for Anita Baker, just a very talented writer, producer, artist. And Sharon Haywood was the head of the record label at that point, the Black Music Division. Took me to lunch one day and she said, Dyana, I've been watching you. Artists seem to like you and you seem to be able to communicate with them. You should do artist development. And I was like, really, Sharon? I had never considered it. And then at that point, I just started doing a deep dive to explore it. Sharon. Sharon Haywood. Yeah, Sharon Haywood is who suggested. But my first job came from Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis's record label, and I coached a group named Solo. And from that point, Rashawn, my phone has not stopped ringing. I have never advertised. I do not solicit. And after Solo, I worked with Vertical Hole, Angie Stone's group. Then I worked with D'Angelo, who to this day is my closest confidant, best friend, beloved, care for him deeply. And like I said, the phone just hasn't stopped ringing. So I'm typically hired by publicists, managers in some cases. I've had artists And then again, as we discussed at the outset of our conversation, I've worked with athletes and worked with Roy Jones Jr. when he was heavyweight boxer. So it's been a mix of people that I've had the opportunity to work with. And I discovered that it was a passion. I relish seeing people accomplish their dreams. I really do. And I love that. I love to see people be successful.
It's really interesting because you're telling the truth. And I would just tell you, if you ever try to get in this business and as a person who sits down there, all these individuals want is the truth. But how you tell them the truth is the key. But also the fact that you have to be able to tell them sometimes actually how it is. Because and I talk to them all the time. I say, when you're represented by William Morris or ICM or CAA, they got 10,000 clients over there. And all of them are hustling from anywhere from 5 to 10% commission. So that means that you're just a car note, a house note, or whatever. Now, she'll tell you herself, she's on the end when after the deal is done, they talking to you, Dyana. They're talking to Rushion McDonald. The agents know where to be found. They know where to be found then, you know, when they're frustrated, when things don't go right. They come to, after the agent doesn't talk to you, they come talk to you. They come talk to me. And that part of the conversation really grows you as an individual. And as we reflect on what we've done in our lives, what do you think you've taken away the most from giving people advice? What nuggets have you brought back into your life? I guess the question I'm trying to ask you, Dyana.
Absolutely. But, you know, you're absolutely right, because with every client that I work with, I glean, I learn, I apply to my own situation. I take away some of the values and the lessons.
Right.
Last night, I worked with a inspirational gospel artist. And I told her at the conclusion of our session, I was like, you've imbued me. I've been lifted and inspired by what you have shared with me in your journey. And so it is constantly a learning process for me. I am not empirical. I do not know it all, but I do know a lot. I was a college dropout. I went back to Temple University, got my degree, and it strengthened me as an artist development media coach. So I hear music.
Well, we got to go to the next break. Let's see. Radio people. I can't stand interviewing people who know the game. You know, I've done like 500 interviews. Only Patti LaBelle, she said, well, me, I hate music. I guess we better stop. Then you. Yeah. Only two people. For a break. We'll be right back. I'm talking to the ambassador, a mother of Black Music Month. We're coming back. It's June. And we got to talk about this, the importance and why we should respect this, and why I'm glad it's longer than Black History Month. That's for sure. We're right back with my friend Dyana Williams. She's a queen. She's a strategist. She's a brand expert. She's what I want to be when I grow up.
And you're listening to Money Making Conversations with Rushion McDonald.
I love it. Be right back. Hi, this is Rushion McDonald. I'm listening. I'm interviewing a friend. You know, I'll tell you something. It's really interesting is that she's a person that it's very few people who come into my life because I'm a real solo person. If you know, I really I think all the time. I would tell people there's 24 hours in a day. Learn to use every hour. I'm that type of person. I go to bed and I actually know what I'm going to do when I get up. That allows me the motivation to get up. And so when she interviewed me, I would say, I would call this industry love. I just fell in love with her. I fell with her energy, her vision, what she's accomplished, because she's so humble. And that's a quality that I have. You know, a lot of people, you've done a lot, Rushion. You don't hype yourself enough. Well, I don't have time to be hyping myself because I have so many other things I want to do. That's an accomplishment I have achieved. Now, one of the
you're not leading with the ego. That's what I would say, Rushion. You're not leading with your ego.
See, when you're with special people, they give you extra terminology to carry you forward. You know that's in the book now. I don't lead by my ego. I don't need to tell people my resume. I don't need to go to the mountaintop and tell people I'm standing on top. They can see me.
They can see you there. Exactly.
They can see me. Black Music Month. Okay. When did it start?
June Black Music Month was started in 1979. It was actually June 7th, 1979 on the lawn of the White House.
Right.
Then President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind hosted, approximately 300 music industry leaders. Mm-hmm. There was a concert, a performance with Chuck Berry, Sarah Powell, who was a classical singer. Dexter Wansel led the MFSB orchestra. Evelyn Champagne King performed as well. It was a great day, and it was a picnic on the lawn with tons of very accomplished Black folks. And so that was the very first celebration. Right. And it was done at the encouragement of the then Black Music Association that was founded by my ex, Kenny Gamble, who's one of the architects of the Sound of Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, multiple Grammy Award winner. So we went that day, and it was a beautiful event that celebrated not just Black artistry, but American music, which is why it is important for us to celebrate June Black Music Month. It's an opportunity for us, a concentrated month, for us to recognize the contributions of people in the past, this generation of music makers, and the ones to come. And I'm not just talking about the artist on the mic. I'm talking about the songwriters, the producers, right, the engineers, the people in the pressing plants, folks who work at Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, the streaming digital services, any and everybody involved in the production of music and its consumption, Rashawn. I'm talking also about consumers. So anybody who loves Black music, and I might add that while it's a concentrated period of time for us to celebrate American music made by Black folks, it's something that we celebrate every single day of our lives. Starting when you heard your mama's heartbeat.
Absolutely.
It started then, and it will continue until your very last breath. Because we consume huge quantities of music on a daily basis.
It's really interesting because music plays such an important role in my life. You know, I've been fortunate to understand music of the 60s, the 70s, 80s, and each decade is a transition. You know, went from the 60s, that pop sound of the Temptations, Four Tops, Diana Ross, that music, Marvin Gaye shifted us, and then the funk landed. You know, in the 70s, the funk landed. Then I went into the, the disco, and then the New Edition drugged me out of pulled me out of it. It pulled me out of the disco, and then we came into when Steve and I started doing radio in 2000. Where I fusion. Jill Scott, Kim, Alicia Keys, Charlie Wilson came back, and rap, of course, was running rampant all that time. But I was driving the other day, and I have this like 200 songs I have on Pandora. I was just on my little playlist, and I realized that there are songs that I relate to and I think about the person that I'm with or experiencing that moment with, and I go, something? I bet you this song doesn't even mean that much to that person that I'm thinking about when I hear this song. And that's what music is to me and to everybody. It's that moment that's important to you when you hear it again or you heard it for the very first time. It might not be important to you, Dyana, that same song. And I may be thinking about you in that song. I might be thinking about that where we were dancing, what we were eating, what club we were in. But that's when I think about Black Music Month, that's what I think about. I think about the emotion, the memory. It's important to me. Might not be important to you, but the music is important to everybody because everybody has that same moment tied to some song. That's what Black Music Month means to me.
You're right. Well, here we go. So there you go. So you're talking about the feeling, the kinetic energy that music gives you. Yes. It has been proven through myriad of scientific studies that music, when it's processed by the brain, releases certain chemicals that make us feel good. Right. So music, it is a healing force. I mean, I'd rather listen to, like you were talking about the Temptations, one of my all-time favorite groups, rather than take some medicine if I'm feeling down and depressed. I'd rather get up and dance because it's going to release endorphins in my body. So music is, one, a universal language. Right. Two, it is a healing force provided to us by Almighty God, and I respect what everybody believes, but that's what I believe. And the other thing that we need to discuss is that it is one of America's greatest financial exports around the planet.
Isn't that crazy?
To the tune of not that hundreds, thousands, millions, but billions,
yes,
and many billions of dollars. Last year, the music industry generated approximately $20 billion. And I need to go on the record here now and say much of that generated by Black people. Mm-hmm. We don't get to participate in the ownership as much as we ought to, mm-hmm. but we are generating billions of dollars from just the sales of music. And then on top of that, our music influences culture. Look at it across the board, commercials. I was watching a TV commercial the other day and they were using Miles Davis music. I was like, look at this, from Kind of Blue. Right. Miles has been dead for years, right. But look, his music, and it invoked a certain kind of feeling when I listened to it. Right. So music is used to sell everything from cars to soap to cereal, you name it. Our music is a money generating. You talking about money making?
Yes.
Black music is a money making entity and one of our greatest exports globally.
With that being said, now you're on the board, you're a board member of the National Museum of African American Music, which is being built in Nashville. So where are we at with that and the realization mm-hmm. that is going to happen?
Oh, I love this museum. It is the culmination of all of my work as a music activist in the industry for many years. The museum is very close to being finished, and we are no different. We've been impacted by the pandemic that mm-hmm. we are all currently mm-hmm. going through. However, we're anticipating that it will be finished. We're looking to do our grand opening in the fall near Labor Day. And if in fact things have not cleared up and there's, we're going to put measures in effect that will allow people to be able to come into the museum. However, if that does not happen, where we cannot physically have people come in yet, mm-hmm. we are going to do a virtual opening, a soft opening. And of course, as time progresses and it's safe for human beings to congregate, then of course we will open. But this is a museum, an endeavor that started 2002 right. and has been going on ever since. $60 million raised. We only have a few more $1 million to raise to finish things. Mm-hmm. But it is, I am also the chair of the Music Industry Relations Committee that consists of people who are movers and shakers in the music industry who share our cultural values and want to get the message out, not just to America, but to the world at large, that African American Black music is a cultural gem and also an economic engine. So I'm excited to be on the board. It's led by Henry Hicks. He's the CEO and president. We have an esteemed group of people on our board who work diligently to preserve, promote, and protect our music and culture. So I'm inviting you now, Rashawn. You got to come.
I'm looking at 5th and Broadway. 5th and Broadway.
Yes, 5th and Broadway in the heart of downtown Nashville, across the street from the original Ryman
Under a Groove. Coming Labor Day 2020.
There you go.
I'll be on my information. Come on, I'll be on my information. 56,000 square feet facility that will encourage visitors to discover the central role of African Americans have played in shaping and creating all genres of American music. Wow.
Amen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why Nashville? Why Nashville? Why did you put it in Nashville?
Good question. Okay. I want to say maybe 6-7 years ago, I got a letter from mm-hmm. Henry Hicks, who's mm-hmm. the CEO of the museum, telling me about this effort. And when I saw Nashville, I must tell you, I got attitude. I was like, Nashville? right. That's country music city.
Country.
What? Mm-hmm. And he came to Philadelphia. He said, may I come to Philly and meet with you? And I said, yes. I was polite, sat with him, had dinner. And after that dinner, I told him sold. I'm there. And at first I became a member of the advisory board and started dipping my toe in the pond to get to know these people and see the movement. And as time progressed, I did 2 fundraisers I co-chaired with Phil Thornton, who is the head of RCA mm-hmm. Inspiration. Mm-hmm. Phil, a very good friend as well. Mm-hmm. And we chaired 2 events, 2 galas, and raised money for the museum, honored Charlie Wilson, Nile Rodgers, Mona Scott Young, Yolanda Adams, Kev Mo. It was a beautiful evening. But I decided to put my energies into this museum and started learning about the musical history of Black folks in Nashville. The first major ambassadors of Black music around the world were the Fisk Jubilee Singers out of Nashville, Tennessee. So what I didn't know, as much as I knew about Black music, I don't know it all, but I learned that Nashville was a center of music, not just in the gospel arena, but all genres of music.
Yes, it was.
So anyway, the civic, the government, private sector all came together. Mm-hmm. Initially, this was going to be a Black History Museum, but it changed over the years. And again, as I said, $60 million later, and as you've seen from going to our website, the National Museum of African American Music.org. It is a wonderful institution. I did a hard hat visit last year, right, and literally tears came to my eyes because I said, I look forward to bringing my grandson, my friends and family. And for people who don't know about our culture as much as they should, they'll learn when they go to the museum. 5th and Broadway, Nashville, Tennessee, Music City.
Thank you. Thank you. She is an in-demand speaker and CEO of Influence Entertainment. Thank you, Dyana Williams, for coming on Money Making Conversations.
Rashawn, thank you for all you do to lift our culture, our economic engines. I have great regard for you, in the words of Aretha Franklin, RESPECT. Okay? Respect for you.
I appreciate you. She's the mother of Black Music Month. Again, all interviews that you want to hear on Money Making Conversation can be heard on moneymakingconversation.com. I'm Rashawn McDonald. I'm your host.